I think everybody would want to hear about.
This is so much more fun.
They were truly epic. But joining us today, first and foremost, is going to be Summer. Hello, Summer.
Hello. I'm here.
Also joining us is going to be Oz.
Good evening, everybody.
Rob.
Everything everybody else says is wrong.
Seraph.
That's a standard
now
response.
we can't have a conversation.
Sure.
And last but not least, joining us one more time from Lavin MMA, John Lavin himself.
Everybody can relax. I'm here.
Outstanding. So I think the conversation was taking an interesting turn when we decided that we were going to go live, and it had something to do with the latest Star Wars.
Okay, so let me preface this. Let me just preface this by saying, me and Summer had a 3.5-hour argument about.
I remember much longer, but
Okay, it might have been longer than that, but similar to The Force Awakens, I don't know if we're going to be able to recapture that old magic the second time around.
we have to have viewers
hey,
so that they can chime in.
Right?
It's fine. I can start bitching about the division at any time here. So you just
No.
keep it in mind.
Anything but that. Anything but
You
that.
ain't the only one. Come on, we can go at.
Okay.
Oh,
I can engage in that one.
We don't. Okay, so me and Summer aren't even. Here's the thing. There's no argument. She liked the movie more than I like the movie. That's kind of the long and short of it.
That's pretty.
My main gripe was that Kylo Ren's power level seemed to fluctuate as the plot needed it to, and it didn't make a ton of sense. Whereas Summer thought
you
it
had
was
the
consistent.
representation of something in relation to the representation of the same thing. What, 30, 60, 50 years ago now? Wow. Is it really 50 years? No, that doesn't make sense. When did the first Star Wars come out?
40.
Like 40
Oh.
years ago.
1977.
So, wow, that is long.
Yeah.
Anyway, the same representation of something back then is now the same. Means something. It's like it's not indicative of anything. And I think that was the main thing that we got to.
Well, I would
The main wall that we hit. That, like, we couldn't get past.
Well, I would disagree with that assertion because way back when, even though technology was limited, we still had half the things going on in Star Wars. And
I mean,
that is canon within the worlds. It is a high point for, it is that 1% of time to go against the 99% boredom that most timelines represent. And to say that it's, non-valid just because it was made a while ago is that's a poor excuse to. I won't use the word excuse. That was a bad choice of words.
No. I think you're misrepresenting. I don't know if you were there for the conversation. I meant specifically with how force powers were portrayed.
Give us an example.
The main example.
The main thing. Yeah, go ahead. No, you're probably going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I think we're going to say the same thing, which is Kylo Ren making people fall unconscious, stopping laser bolt. Yeah, stopping the laser bolt in midair, and being able to freeze people's entire bodies against their will.
And my main counterpoint was just because it wasn't a representation in the old movies doesn't mean that makes him. And I think the main counterpoint was he was more powerful than Darth Vader. But just because Darth Vader didn't do that, Lucas just didn't think up, let's make Darth Vader do this, doesn't mean, I think we need more information.
Well, instead of making direct comparison, let's look at a comparative analysis, right? What powers did Darth Vader have? He could force choke the shit out of someone.
Yes.
I do.
Darth Vader was...
I like it, but I haven't seen it a lot.
So Darth Vader was supposedly the strongest Force user who ever was, because he was made by Darth Plagueis and the Emperor.
Yeah, through Jesus baby stuff, right?
Yeah, through medic. They basically
Nope.
had
We
sex
do not
with
use
the
the
Force.
M word on this show.
On this
We
show,
have to use it
they are
for posterity's sake. We have to, because it's technically canon.
small issue. It's still
Midichlorian?
It's
I
still
think you mean
considered
the M
canon.
word. Got it. Yeah. It's still. It's unfortunately. I mean, what they should have done was just said the prequels never happened.
It's funny they never mentioned it outside of episode 1 though. Which really
Yeah. Well, I think everybody had such a terrible reaction to it that. Well, I mean, he did say, Darth Plagueis learned how to manipulate the midichlorians so he could create life.
That's also why Anakin went from 9 to 20 in 3 years.
I wave that off from production things.
It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense.
And
okay, so
a movie about montaging over 15 years would be really boring.
Yeah, actually,
I
that's
need to bring
maybe
out the
more what we
montage
wanted to
music.
see. Okay, so we see Darth Vader. He force chokes somebody. Now, him and Luke are the only people who we ever see force choke anyone. The only other person who ever uses the Force to manipulate another person's body is Mace Windu when he kind of force pushes back 2 of the Emperor's guards. But other than that, we see people like
Yoda
lifting
does that as
ships. Does Yoda move a person?
Yeah, he moves 2 of the guards when he goes.
Oh, maybe that's Yoda did that, not Mace Windu. You might be right.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Yoda
Then yeah.
did
Yeah, Yoda
He's-
moved.
I really like that. I remember loving that. He's
waves his hand because Yoda
Yeah.
should never have a lightsaber ever. But
yeah.
So
I really was disappointed in his representation, but
it literally goes against everything his character stands for. But anyway, so me and Sam are
he
really
wouldn't
good
fight.
Here's
I
the
think
thing
we
is
agree about a lot of stuff.
Yoda doesn't need to fight. He could just look at
Oh,
you,
I
and if
agree.
he wanted to, like, snap his fingers and like a
Yeah,
blood
like,
vessel in
explode your
would
brain.
explode. Yeah,
Yeah, like
So-
bad Fantastic Four.
yeah.
That's
So
every Fantastic Four.
Sure.
that
I mean,
director's cut,
specifically
bro.
the new one is like he just looks at you, but then he doesn't use it later. Whatever. Let's not get into that.
yeah. Anyway, but so the only people who do that are Vader, Luke, and Yoda. So it's sort of like a high level force power to stop someone else or freeze someone else or hold someone else.
Well, can I ask who else? Again, I haven't seen them in a long time, and I didn't watch them as much as you did. Who else is force sensitive in those movies?
Like all the
Besides
people in
those-
the Jedi Council.
No, I mean
Like,
the original movies. I mean the original 3.
Well, no, I mean in the original movies, there's only
It's just Luke
2
and Darth
people.
Vader.
Yeah,
Vader,
it's-
well, and the
there's only-
Emperor.
Yoda, Darth
There's
Vader,
only
Obi-Wan, and
5 Force
Yeah.
users in the original trilogy, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for,
Users,
for you guys
right?
to kind of wrap it up so I can explain exactly what it is that John's talking about.
Nope.
Because
let's
I
keep
have
going.
the answer.
No, well, okay,
Oh.
so,
Okay.
well, no, I mean, here's the thing: is you have to be really strong in the Force to be able to move an organic being. Like you can lift up, Darth Vader's pulling shit off the walls to hit.
So let me ask you a question. Do you
Luke's
think
head.
a force user that's good can hold somebody? Not choke. Can force choke somebody?
I think they can do like gross motor things. Like you can kind of like squeeze someone's throat, or you can pull a blaster out of someone's hands, but you couldn't do a fine motor skill like type at a typewriter, and sort of like just closing like. Sort of like closing.
Oh
around
no, I
someone's
don't think you
throat
can
like that.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's like
type on a
telekinesis. Yeah, I don't think
Like-
you can do that. That's weird.
It like you can do a gross motor thing like squeeze around someone's throat, but to completely freeze someone and paralyze every part of their body so they can't move and they can't run away and they're just looking at you and they can speak but not do anything else would appear to be a high level force move. And to Daryl.
Maybe.
John, you are not wrong, but you're missing something.
Ooh.
Kylo Ren is very powerful in the Force, but he has very little control over his power, which is represented by his lightsaber with its blaring out of flare-like energy that's not focused correctly.
I thought that's just because they didn't know how to make it.
Well, no, it's,
So,
his
no.
actual his crystal is cracked.
Oh,
That's what causes that, but it's supposed to be representative of that, and this is from the actual screenwriters.
So here's one of the
Okay.
giant problems I have with that movie.
it's like
Kylo Ren
it's like
is
a visual
very
thing.
yeah, he
It's
is
like a visual, like symbolic thing.
exactly the same way as Darth Vader's in
Ah.
all black, Princess Leia's in all white. The thing is, Kylo
Sure.
Ren is very, very strong in the Force, but he doesn't have the training to control his power correctly, which is why he's
So you're
able to
saying
do
when he
these
stops
big
a
things,
blaster
but not the
bolt-
small ones.
So you're saying he stopped the blaster bolt and he just at that time didn't realize and he just kept it there and he couldn't not do it, or like as a fluke? What are you
Well,
saying?
I once again feel
I think
like
that's-
okay. My point is and this is what we eventually got down to the end of it. The nitty gritty of this argument is I feel like Finn and Rey shouldn't have been able to beat Kylo Ren at the end of the movie. I feel like it's
Right, we got into this. That's right.
bad. I feel like it's bad storytelling, and
then I went
Spoiler
into
alert
to give
for
a
one
bunch
of
of
the
his,
highest grossing films of last year, and that's already out on DVD for the past 2
and
weeks.
I gave
so
examples of
screw you.
how it could happen,
well, I
and
just
gave a lot of
Shit, it's on
evidence.
DVD. I'll
I
go
feel
buy
like
it.
you're
I
lot
haven't
of
seen that movie yet.
I disagree.
Oh, you know what? They're releasing the director's cut on Blu-ray, which is cool.
Does the
Apparently, it
director's
has a
cut for
lot
this
of-
movie already?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Wait,
Man,
is it
they
that?
had the
No, I'm
director's
sorry.
cut ready
I'm
to
a
go
liar.
on the theatrical release.
The director's cut is Batman vs Superman, which apparently has 30 minutes. It's unreal,
And
but
it's
whatever.
R-rated.
Let's not talk about that. And it's
Only
R-rated.
30
Apparently,
minutes, it doesn't
Superman
suck.
says "fuck." I don't know if I can say that, but
That's funny. Okay, but no. So
it's not
I just
inherently
feel
good or
like
evil. But I just feel like
Green.
Superman wouldn't really say that.
I'm just
Whatever.
saying, in my opinion, okay. Imagine if you were watching A New Hope.
Yeah.
You're at the pivotal scene where they're running. They're trying to escape the Death Star and the Millennium Falcon. They're running the Millennium Falcon. Vader's dueling Old Man Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan sees
Yes.
him across the hangar bay, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to sacrifice myself so they can escape." So he lets himself be sacrificed, and he turns into like poof apparition. He's a Force ghost now.
Yeah,
Now
sure.
imagine if Luke had gone, "Oh no," and then ran over there with a lightsaber and beat Darth Vader. It would have
That's not how it
been
happened.
ridiculous, and yeah, but
That
that's
is
my
not what
point.
happened.
No, I know that's not what happened. My
That's not
point-
even
No, that's
happening.
not.
Wouldn't
You're
Force
comparing
Awakens.
it to the end. You're comparing it to the end of the Force Awakens. This is not really a good parallel.
Well, no, I think it's a very apt parallel. They're both desert orphans who find a cute droid
No.
and are swept away on an
that would
adventure.
be like saying Kylo Ren walks up to one of them. Nothing just happened to me. Let's go.
I do,
That's all
okay,
that
so the
happened.
whole thing about him
Also-
like getting shot or whatever, they
You
didn't
just
do
cut
a
out.
great job.
I agree they didn't do a great job of conveying that he
hello?
had to have a lot of force like energy inwardly focused to make him, which is what the consensus is. He got
no,
shot.
here's the thing. I know that's the consensus, but when it's done in a way that
All right, so there's
isn't-
this thing that I watched. Every time Chewie shoots someone with a blaster bolt, they literally fly like 10 feet.
Yes, I mean I know that's
Kylo Ren
their
doesn't.
that is their
They-
excuse.
Right.
I know,
yeah.
like that's
I mean,
like
that's
their
what
logic
they
in
show
the
you.
movie.
It's not even what they tell you.
Well, yeah, I
It's
know
not
But
like
that's
there
like
somebody
was-
after telling
so-
you they showed you that.
But that's not what they showed. Like, they showed him getting shot, but like there was that comic where it has Chewie with his bowcaster, and he's like aiming at Kylo's head, and then he drops it down like, "Oh, all of those things when you were a child, and I was Uncle Chewie. Oh, sad." And then like shoots him in the side. Maybe he just grazed him. They didn't show us him stomping
That's fair.
through the snowy forest after
Yeah.
him,
I also
dripping
feel
blood
like
onto things.
Another thing that happened during that scene was he just killed his father, and while obviously he's trying to become this
Did he just kill
the
his
Sith
father?
Lord. Hold on,
Oh,
the Sith
well,
Lord.
No, you hold
Let
on.
me finish my thought process. Let me finish my thought
You didn't let me
process
finish
real
my
fast.
thought process.
No,
Okay.
that's not true.
I like the way this
You're right.
argument
true.
between John and Summer is an argument between Rob and Summer.
I just wanted to finish
Go-
the sentence.
go ahead.
I was three
Go ahead.
words
Go.
away from finishing
Go.
the sentence.
Go
All right.
finish.
Obviously, he's trying to be a Sith Lord, but he just killed his father, so he's obviously not mentally there either. And that's another thing that happened during that thing.
Now, here's
Go
the
ahead.
thing. I would.
All right, hold on, John. She
Okay.
gave me permission after interrupting of the thing that I was continuing on with.
You can, yeah.
So there was the scene where he got shot, and then them not showing us him getting shot. They also didn't show us like have him shoot some lightning or something, and then while the lightning is going, unlimited power, like him going, "Oh God, my side," and to show that he is diverting the force from holding himself together to lightning bolting some bitches. They didn't show us that, so they didn't show us or like
I don't
him
think he
trying
can
to
lightning
do
bolt.
any force thing that he tried to do. They didn't show him attempting to force stuff and having it fail because his attention is diverted.
Yeah,
Like-
Okay.
that would be my agree. That's kind of my thing too. Is like if they'd have added in, I mean, basically like if he'd have killed Harrison Ford, and then like they kind of show his face, and he's like kind of like smiling at first, and then he's sort of like looks like he's about to cry, and then he's laughing, and then like basically it shows him like cracking up, like he's literally becoming berserk, like he's losing his mind. And then he gets shot, and then he's chasing, and like he's dragging one leg, and there's this long trail of blood in the snow, and you see he's like frothing at the mouth, and you can literally tell like he's gone insane. Like Kylo Ren has left the building, he's out of his mind.
What?
Like
There was
that
a-
would have been then he loses the fight. It's no big biggie. You know what I mean? But they didn't do a good enough job. I mean, I understand the logic of, he got shot with the OP laser gun that everyone would carry if it was a real thing.
Right.
Like, I understand he got shot with that, but they didn't go. And there's just a million other ways that he can lose that fight that don't. It's like professional wrestling. Like, you can't have the bad guy lose super bad to, like, before WrestleMania or something.
But
you know, like the bad guy lost his overness.
Watch how the three of them fight in that last scene. Finn shows a lot of good technique with the lightsaber, but no instinct. Rey
Wasn't he a janitor?
No,
Yes.
he was one of the highest.
Right.
He does
Aced his
say marksmanship and everything else.
For a joke
you're
that
saying-
he
Also,
does.
also ask someone in the military about what logistics actually is, and you'll find out that if you call them a janitor, you're probably about to get your ass beat.
Well, no,
Yeah,
he
like,
calls
they
have to
himself
go
a
through
janitor,
all-
doesn't he?
He does,
So
and it's
us.
a joke. But he also
Yes.
has to have all this training. Like,
But don't
before.
stormtroopers die by the dozen?
No, don't. That's a different argument.
I mean, we
bet
can
they
bring
can't
in
hit
that
shit.
like funny stuff. They can't hit shit. They die all the
However-
time. But like,
That's
again,
whatever, man.
But again, it all goes back to watch how the three of them fight. Finn fights with
so-
technique but no instinct because he doesn't use the Force. However, Rey uses almost exclusively thrusting moves, which, if you look
Yeah.
at her earlier, she's carrying around a spear and knows how to use it. So she is actually combat trained, something that Luke wasn't. He knew how to pilot, and he could kind of sort of shoot straight with the blaster, but that's it.
I think
the
that
theory been on Jakku for 15, 20 years. Like,
Well,
she's
and
fast.
Luke-
Like,
When you watch Kylo Ren fight, all his moves are big, huge,
Power.
swinging, chopping power moves.
he doesn't know how to do it. Yeah.
so.
Power-
here's
Like,
the thing:
power
is
with
what
no
is
Overhead
finesse.
canon.
swing, side.
What-
That's
like,
why.
what is
that's
canon?
why this is all canon, and this is why at the end he says, "Bring him to me so I can complete his training."
I agree with you. That did happen. But what else is canon is that Kylo is the leader of the Knights of Ren, which are 7 dudes who walked into the new Jedi Temple with lightsabers and,
Wait.
and other
Where's
stuff
this at?
and
Where'd you
killed
Where'd you read
literally everybody.
Aftermath, I think.
Yeah, no, that's
this?
canon.
Yes,
Is Kylo
Okay.
is the
by Chuck
leader of a
So
group
he
of
walked
sword
in, like-
fighters.
Anakin did
No-
and killed a bunch of kids.
Well, no, he killed other adult. I mean, he killed people his own age, people older than him. Like him
How
and
many?
Everybody in that
6
building.
other dudes
How
who
many?
weren't. I don't know the exact number.
Did they get ambushed?
It seems like they're
Were they
30,
ready?
mid-30s, something like that. But it's also okay if the guy can't beat another Force user who like doesn't really have any training. And the thing, her being on Jakku, I don't really feel like if they'd have filled in some backstory where like it shows her and she's like the top pit fighter in town or something, that would have been one thing.
So
And it did show her beating up those 2 guys, but
Should have
I
beat
mean,
up those
Finn
2 guys. She
beat
took
up-
down Finn. I mean, Finn wasn't really fighting back.
and again, she is a more nimble fighter. She was using thrusting spear techniques. John, let me ask something: is it always the biggest, strongest guy that wins an MMA fight? Isn't Brock Lesnar completely
Usually,
undefeated
yes.
in UFC because he's a big, huge, giant guy? No, he got his ass beat and had to
he
crawl
got
back to
to the
WWE.
highest. He got to the highest level in the sport for being really big. But
we gotta write down some stuff.
I like,
but
I like,
no, I mean,
I like my fighting scripted. Sorry.
here's the thing: is it? I do agree. Okay, Rey could be the toughest fighter ever, but we as the audience weren't. We weren't given a lot of reason to think that she should be that, and she shouldn't be that good. Like, it's the first movie. Like in fucking
Like Kylo Ren shouldn't be.
in a new the bad guy's supposed to be big and intimidating, and it should seem like the good guys have no chance against him. That's like the whole point. Like in the first movie, all Luke does is lose. Like, he gets beat up by some sand people, and then he gets like beat up by those like 2 weird dudes at the bar, and Obi-Wan's got to save him. And then he then he's in the trash compactor, and R2 saves them, and then they're trapped in the hallway, and Leia saves him. Like, literally all Luke does is lose. That's literally all he does. So and then he like gets his hand chopped off. So like it's to the audience, like, yes, there's a part of us that knows this is Star Wars, the good guys are gonna win. But like, when a character is so good at everything all the time, they become completely non-compelling. I mean, it's just that Rey should have had a bunch of trouble and almost lost that fight, and then Chewie shows up in the Millennium Falcon and shoots a bunch of lasers, and Kylo runs off. Like, it would have had all the exact same beats hit, but would have let Kylo keep his overness as, like, I think we already understand that Rey is super strong with the Force, with the fact that she, like, was able to do a super strong Jedi mind trick against a dude when she doesn't even know what a Jedi mind trick is, and she, like, just figured out, like, 5 minutes before that she knows how to use the Force.
On James Bond.
But what? I mean, but they could do so many things in the second movie. What? I could come up with so many things. Like, just say, for instance, she was trained, and they for some reason dropped her on Jakku and like wiped their memory because of something. Well, wouldn't it come to the surface then? Like, if she's like in this fight now, but then wouldn't that describe everything? Like, there's just so many things that they could do in the sequel.
Why wouldn't it have come to the surface the first time when Kylo Ren freezes her in place and she can't move, and then he makes her go unconscious?
Didn't it?
Where was it? Where was her Force power then?
I mean, it was very quick. That's all I got for you. 15 seconds to freeze her, walk over, and like make her go sleep.
Well, he was like talking to her, and she was like, "Oh no, I can't move," and then he like made her fall asleep. But just see,
I don't remember
like,
him talking to her. I thought he just walked over and was like,
and then he
down.
tried to interrogate her by invading her mind, and she reversed it on him.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
wait,
That's where, like,
wait, that's against
I'm not
your
saying this is going to
argument,
happen
isn't it,
in the second.
No, it
I don't-
doesn't. That
I'm not going to
doesn't
say this is
beat my
happening in the
argument.
second
That
movie.
doesn't
I'm just
make-
saying you could
Why
for
would she...
for. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean that, Daryl. That absolutely doesn't. That's like me saying like, "Oh, well, I could have beat that guy in a fight, and I beat him later in the movie." Well, you didn't beat him the first 2 times you had a chance. Like that. Like
It's going to happen in a lot of old fight
If-
movies.
no, but like if she
Like,
was
dip
so
deep, dip
strong with the Force, why was
Danielson.
Why was he able to like throw her around so easy at the beginning? It's just like it doesn't make a ton of sense within the logic of the movie.
What are you
and
saying?
it
Like,
also-
when they were fighting, he should have been like paralyzed. You make you fall asleep again?
Well, if that
Would
if
you
he
not
was-
want to win the fight? If you had "fuck you, I lose" move, would you not start with "fuck you, I lose"
Yeah,
move?
I
I mean,
feel like that
that's-
would be his move.
That's more of a criticism against like even using that as a power in the first place in the first
That
scene.
doesn't make
Which-
a
yeah,
good
I don't
movie.
think.
we could argue about that. That's fine. I wouldn't actually.
If
have
you're
a problem
using
with
a straight up "I win" move, who wants to fucking watch that? It's boring entertainment. It's not entertainment.
not right,
It's boring
exactly,
television,
so-
it's
I
a boring
agree
movie.
with you, but they shouldn't have given him that move.
then they should have given it to. I agree with that.
Like it
They
doesn't
shouldn't have
like
given
they
it to him
sh-
in the first place.
when the movie started, I got mad when he stopped that blaster bolt because I'm like, oh, here's the new guy who's so much stronger than all the other
It's like a
guys.
6-month cooldown.
But like, yeah, it's that then you kind of like you start to like Kylo because he seems like he has a little bit more personality, and then he takes his helmet off and he's like
He's
like
awesome.
fucking the Justin Bieber or something. He's got like he's got like pouty lips, and then you're mad
Nah.
again. Like it just
I
it
didn't have a
didn't-
problem with that personally.
Of course you didn't, Summer, because he's
Yeah, you're right.
But no, it just okay. I'm just saying that like Kylo Ren's power level seemed, and I understand the argument of like he got shot with the strongest gun ever, but like Rob was saying, like we should have had more footage of him bleeding out and more footage of him like flipping his lid. We basically have to speculate, and my other problem with this is like we have to like it's supposed to be like, oh, it's a mystery and all these secrets are going to be revealed. Wait a minute, who's at the helm of this? The guy who wrote Lost?
Not
Well, he
anymore.
wrote the pilot. He wrote the pilot, and that's it.
So, two
That is
things.
Well, he's the executive producer and showrunner for a while, but
That's fine, but
he is
strictly
only
writing.
involved in episode 7. He now only has an executive producer credit and is basically out. It's now
Okay, that's excellent because I do not trust this guy to set up mysteries and then actually pay them off. I think he just likes to have Mascanata say,
that's Hughes and Lindelof. You should get mad at them.
like,
So,
I think.
I want to throw in 3 things here.
I mean, I
One,
feel like I got lost, but whatever.
I sat down to watch a space opera, not Inception.
Yeah.
So the fact
Wait,
that
what?
I sat down to watch like a fun movie like Guardians of the Galaxy,
Right.
not Inception.
Where'd you get Inception at from that movie?
Because at the end of the Star Wars, with the fact that this conversation exists, is Inception.
Well, this conversation exists because
you
someone
realize there's
doesn't
people
get
that have
something.
discussions like this about Guardians of the Galaxy too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but
we're
those are
nerds.
super
It's what we
comic
do.
book
we
nerds.
overanalyze everything.
Oh, we're not nerds. My bad.
I said they're
dare
super
you
comic book
About
nerds.
Star Wars. God, Rob.
Wow.
Kettle.
Did you just insult our audience?
Yeah, we- our audience loves me, so it's fine.
Rob, you're gonna have to feel bad about what you just did.
No. So like, here's why I say Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, there may be people who debated little things in Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's
but
a
it doesn't...
lighthearted space adventure film for all ages. It's not a crazy mystery where we have to make 50,000 assumptions for the plot.
There was no giant...
I have to say right now, before the movie was over, I didn't make any assumptions. I just thought that that's what it was, and only when this conversation came up I was like, "What did you?" Like I was confused.
So
that's what I'm saying. I wasn't like.
So the fact that this conversation exists not just within us, but is like all over the internet, complaining about Ray being a giant Mary Sue, about the bullshit at the end, all this stuff.
First of all, she is a Mary Sue. Let's be real.
No more than Luke was.
No, oh no, Daryl.
Nah, Luke
got
has
beat
a lot of
by
flaws.
Everyone. Luke literally got beat by everyone.
To wrap it back in, that I didn't sit down for some giant mindfuckery like Inception was. So you've automatically, by the bad writing at the end, have already upset people there. The second thing was there was a thing that I remember coming across where it talked about how Han Solo was actually the one that activated Kylo's lightsaber to prevent his son from killing him, therefore leaving that sliver of light for him to potentially come back from.
Now who's inceptioning? Now who's inceptioning?
Hey,
that's a reach. That's a reach more than anything we've said. Yeah, but we're taking baby steps, and that's jumping a cliff.
When I saw the movie, I wasn't sure who activated the lightsaber or if it just kind of went off. It wasn't it obviously makes more sense that Kylo did it, but I agree that it wasn't super clear.
I'll have to see it, but Kylo looks it really doesn't have any type of facial change between like that and activating it. So I really think he did it. But
the article I saw where they talked about it mentioned that when, like in that scene, Kylo was holding his lightsaber at the top and the bottom of it, leaving the middle section open, which was kind of where Han grabbed it. I'll try and find the other thing in there as well to give you the link to it.
Isn't that supposed to be the whole point, though? Is that they're supposed to give you that false sense of, like who actually activated the product?
In a properly written, fun, lighthearted romp space opera, no, they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to tell you pretty much exactly what happens.
Yeah,
if this was Inception and they wanted to put a little wobble in the top at the end to get you thinking about shit that's not important, then yes.
This is literally the first time hearing about Han Solo activating that lightsaber, by the way.
It's not the first time I'm hearing it, but...
Yeah, so my point is, like, it...
First of all, the top is Maul's totem, and the wedding ring is Cobb's totem, first of all. Now we can go on Star Wars.
Wow.
Anybody who understands will get that, so we're good. Continue.
The moral of said story is just, I think that Rey winning that fight was just it's bad screenwriting. It shouldn't have, like, her and Finn should have both fought Kylo Ren at the same time. He should have still just been like beating their asses and toying with them, and then Chewie shows up in the Millennium Falcon, shoots like spaceship guns at him, and Kylo's like, oh snap, and like has to run away, and he gets hit by one, and he can be scarred by that. There's basically script writing wise not really any reason for him to lose like that, unless they're going to try to turn him to the light side, which still, if he beats them in a fight, that kind of makes more sense anyway. There's just, I don't see any reason to have the bad, like, it breaks the tension. Because, like, what, is Snoke going to grab a lightsaber now and fight against Rey? Because it's already been shown she's the strongest, you know?
The third
I mean, I'm
thing,
not going to go around in circles here, but I would if I continue.
But no,
the third thing...
So Luke has been gone for 15 years. Okay?
Sure.
No, that's canon. Luke has been gone for 15 years.
No, I'm agreeing, sure.
So that means Snoke has had Kylo Ren under his tutelage for 15 years. He's like, oh, let me complete his training. And you're like, what the...
Wait.
15 years, bro. Like, what, why...
Wait. When did Kylo come in and kill them? If he's 20, I don't know, what, mid-20s?
He's supposed to be 31. He's supposed
so
to be
he's 31. So if he's got 15, he took him when he was a teenager, 15?
He went in with the Knights of Ren when he was 16 and, like, slaughtered everybody. That's
Well, then why didn't he finish his training in 15 years? A canon
my
thing
point.
is that. Okay. So he didn't.
That's what I'm saying. It's like Snoke's
The
like,
point is
oh,
he
let me
didn't,
finish
though.
his training. Well, no, but he had 15 years. What have they been doing the last 15 years?
That's neither here nor there. He didn't do it. It straight up said he didn't do
giant
it.
kill station, from what I've heard. I still haven't seen this movie. What are we
Well,
talking
Yeah,
about?
wasn't he going?
Kylo out
Wasn't
there
he
with a
going
hammer and nails?
around? Wasn't he going around like recruiting people and fucking being his like guy out in the field, his queen, basically, for making a chess analogy?
Don't you
like see him out there?
I don't think anybody here realizes just how much time and energy it takes to brood effectively, and that is what he apparently was doing.
Seriously, it takes me at least a week to get to that proper stage of brooding.
Really?
See,
I thought I was actually kind of fast to tell you the truth.
I like these kind of things.
What they could have done
The third
and made
the
the
third
We shouldn't really say what they could have done, and we should talk about what they did do and like how that's bad or good, if it is or not.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is they could have gone way better and made Kylo like straight up 17. Like he just slaughtered the Jedis a couple years ago. So that makes sense why he has like huge temper tantrums, and then he can lose at the end of the movie because he's only 16 or 17. He looks like Justin Bieber. So it kind of makes more sense why he loses, and then it's like, well, he's going to be like a full-grown man when they fight again, and so there's sort of like a little bit more tension. But to have him like be a 28-year-old dude who loses or whatever, it doesn't. They should have gone younger. They should have made him win. They could have done a bunch of stuff. But yeah, what they did it doesn't even make sense on paper.
The third thing I wanted to do is to serve the ball to Oz, because he tried to say something like 3 times in there.
Oh no, I don't give 2 shits about this conversation. You
No, he's
keep on
seen
keeping
it
on.
apparently.
No, I
We could
haven't
do
seen this
something
movie.
else. We could talk about something else.
I don't care. The reason this entire thing started is because they released a teaser for Rogue One, which is a Star Wars film I
Ooh.
actually want to see. Because
Yeah, that looks cool.
with
I don't know
Luke,
if
it doesn't
anybody
involve
thinks
any
it
of this
doesn't
Force
look cool.
bullshit. So all
I-
you nerds don't start fucking arguing over it again.
That's fair.
So
Fantastic.
here's my thing.
I
is-
actually heard it's before A New Hope and this
Yeah.
Right.
This bounty hunter
It's
It is
point-
them
it's
getting
when
the information for the Death Star.
is
what
rumored
Yeah.
to be Rey's mother.
They've already started
The-
that speculation, but
They already started.
When
the
do they
speculation.
never start that speculation? It's the same
I so
speculation
hope
as
she's not
fucking Jar Jar
related to
Binks
anyone.
being a goddamn Jedi.
I so hope
Uh,
Rey's not related to anyone. She's just
Me too.
she just is
I
a
agree
person.
with you on that. She should just be new.
no more Skywalkers, god damn it.
There could be more.
We got
but
enough
new.
Skywalkers already.
Why is
I don't know.
everybody
Jennifer
just
Lawrence
part of
is in
these
it,
2
so-
families and that's it? It's such bullshit.
I hope for the Lannister Skywalker, the accidental Leia Luke child. Like, I would give so many props to Disney for doing that. If it's like, oh yeah,
They will
Rey,
never
this
do that.
new
I'll bet you any amount of money.
this new powerful, well-written, strong female protagonist, totally a product of incest.
Oh, that's how. There's this theory. They have a little green child and they send it back in time, and that's Yoda.
Damn it. You've been
Is it green because it's from incest?
Yes, of course.
And of course, my favorite is everyone complaining because the second Star Wars film in a row has a female protagonist. Like, oh yeah,
Really?
When
People
is
are
it
complaining
gonna,
about that?
when is
I
it going to
don't
be the
think
white male's
anyone's-
time? I mean, we need a Star Wars movie.
When
where
is
the
it
main
gonna be
character
their
is a
time?
white male.
Complaining.
I mean, aside from the Phantom Menace, Clone War, Attack of
So-
the Clones,
There's no
Or every movie or
Revenge of the
book
Sith,
or
New
thing
Hope,
ever made.
Empire.
Not that I really
Strikes
care,
Back,
but
Return of the
I can't
Jedi,
believe-
So,
Clone Wars,
Show me a
Rebels.
person who complained about that. Nobody actually complained about that.
I-
They were trying to drum up
I
controversy.
actually legitimately complained about it at work yesterday when I saw the trailer the first time, because so the same reason I complained about Ghostbusters when it was announced, like, oh, female cast, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's stupid to complain about. If the movie's actually bad, sure, but not because it's women. That doesn't make any sense. It's not
I don't
a
care.
controversy.
So
Right, I don't care about the actual gender of the people in Ghostbusters,
Right, sure.
but it's like, oh my god, look at us, we're Disney, we're going to make every past X movies is going to be strong female protagonists,
Ghostbusters
because that's
is
a hot button right now.
So,
Yeah,
so there's
exactly.
Sure.
there's a difference between making something make sense because it makes sense for the story, or just having a strong female protagonist because, why not? and shouting from the rooftops, touting it, putting it on a pedestal, and acting as if that is the reason why the movie should be good in the first place. The movie should stand on its own. You should be able to, like, I'll use Star Wars as an example. If Luke and Leia's roles were switched, and it just happened to be that Leia was the Force goddess and Luke was the other person, the movie would not have changed. The movie would still be just as good.
Yes.
It would have changed because the Han plus princess situation would have been a Han plus prince situation. That would have been really awkward in the 70s.
Sure. No, but the point is that it shouldn't matter, good or bad. The gender, all that stuff shouldn't be used for bad or good. It should not matter.
If they're more concerned with gender, with what gender and race their main character is, than they are making sure the script is good, I think that's the problem people have. I don't really think that's
so much brain power to be like, oh, she has a vagina.
Well, it seems like, I don't know, if you saw that new Ghostbusters trailer, that kind of seems like they used up all their brain power before they made the movie on that one.
So
like,
it's less
sure, but then not because it looks bad, but not because they're female.
It's less that I have a problem with the movie because of the main character, but more that seems to be a product of the way society is pushing things, just to be like, oh, we need more female protagonists, oh, we need more female protagonists. Pushing in that, and the movie industry caving to that rather than writing the character that makes sense. Kind of like why Finn was black. Okay.
Why did that? But that wasn't brought up, and it didn't matter at all in the movie.
What? Hold up. Wait a second.
No, hold on.
I think he kind of did bring that up just a little bit.
He said droid no. What did he say? Like that was literally, that made my soul hurt. That made my soul hurt.
Did not even say that at all. I have no idea.
I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Seriously?
I was about to say, because, one of the biggest issue was that, yes, hooray, they made a black character, but I was amazed by the other countries actually trying to diminishing that character's aspect quite a bit, especially over in China.
One of the stormtroopers were always kind of unimportant people.
Yeah.
Like, they were just nondescript bad guys that were around, and knowing that in the Clone Wars they were all clones of a singular dude, and now suddenly it's like,
yeah, no one rages about that. That dude's not Caucasian.
It's not that he's not Caucasian. It's
yeah, but like you're only arguing about black female, but then like something happens as a Spanish guy. The fucking Poe Dameron. Fucking Poe Dameron.
The way the movie progressed, Poe died. He was done. He did his job.
We can move on to a different thing. Dude. Yes, that was already admitted to, that they killed him off, but like J.J. Abrams liked him so much that he wrote him back into the end. You can look that up online.
That is
what I'm trying to talk about is race. It doesn't matter. You only are aware. People only aware the guy's black.
To be honest,
this person's female.
I kind of see it still being an issue even to this day, because there was,
Well, it's obviously an issue. We're talking about it. It just shouldn't be.
Well, it's
agreed.
Here's the thing: it's an issue, but is it because everybody's racist and sexist, or is it market?
Yeah.
Like if I was.
No, I think a lot of
If I walked around and complained that there weren't enough well-written male characters in rom-coms, and that the male characters are, I would disagree. That Matthew McConaughey's just there for window dressing, and his character only has, like Mr. Big in Sex and the City, doesn't actually have any personality.
Stuff, so I can't chime in on it.
My point is,
but I would just go off the fact that there's so much that you have to be able to find it.
Mr. Big doesn't have to be, because it's a movie for women. The female characters who are the protagonists are important, because that's what the market demands. If dudes want better written characters in romantic comedies, they need to start buying tickets for romantic comedies, and the market will bear that. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily.
Maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe a lot of females and stuff are buying these types of tickets now.
I was just going to say that. I don't know if any more girls, any more or less girls
I'm
bought.
telling you right now, flat out, women are growing a huge growing audience in genre film.
Show me some citation on that.
Well, he digs up links.
I mean, I feel it's just natural. Like they're making like you get to see all the Disney movies and kind of how that you can kind of sideways go into that stuff when you're a woman and you're watching all the Disney movies and they have really strong female characters in the Marvel movies now. I mean, I've talked to people.
It feels like the marketing is pushing it on us that way. Like the first time we see Finn in the trailer for Force Awakens is that scene in the desert where he lifts up his head. He's like, "Black dude." And it's like, oh shit, they've got a black dude main character. That's what I felt when they showed me that trailer.
I mean, I didn't. It's only when I went on the internet that I'm like, oh, what is people really fucking talking about this? Like, is this real still?
1, 2, 3.
Oh shit! What's happening?
4.
We're getting spammed at this point.
Yep. 5, and that was the first 5 that I. Those are the first 5 that I came across that say that.
Oh,
women are
no, I already know this. I already read these articles as well. Not these specific ones, but yeah, women are.
Well, maybe we should put these for the people of the audience so they can actually read what we're talking about.
Okay, these links. Okay, so this first link contains no statistical information.
Oh.
This second link is by the Mary Sue, so that'd be like me quoting Fox News. No, I mean, dude, the Mary Sue is
cite their sources.
Yeah, they cite them. You shouldn't care where they come.
People.
What?
This entire line of discourse is
this entire thought process is dumb, and it should.
Okay, it cites. Okay, so the Mary Sue cites it by linking to another Mary Sue article that is not cited. Okay.
Okay, so there are 4 other articles.
This is written by a man.
I'll work my way down. God. Don't worry, I'm working my way through it. My point is, like, I mean, I'm sure there's more girls watching science fiction movies now than there were in, like, 1986 or something.
That was the whole argument.
Well, no, I mean, but there's a difference between there's more and it's the main target demographic.
Of course it's not.
The point is the marketing is trying to shift that demographic to open it to more people. So you're going to see more strong female characters. You're going to see more minorities in leading roles. And eventually you're actually going to see script writers writing scripts that are color or gender blind to who the lead is supposed to be.
That is hopefully where they get to.
Because right now they've got this huge pool of scripts just sitting there that they've paid for from the Writers Guild of America. And they're just grabbing a script, looking at it, it's like, oh, well, what if we put this dude and this gal in here? No, let's switch them around and see what happens. And then they send it back for editing. And they just slap that shit together. Eventually they're going to run out of that pool, and we're going to get some decent script writing done.
I'm telling you, if they make a Mass Effect movie and it's not Femme Shepherd, I'm going to be mad.
See?
That's canon!
That's canon!
I can't hear you. I could not hear you over the screaming.
Well, the voice.
Of Summer.
Sorry.
What was that?
Paul? That voice actor, I can't remember her name. She's so
Jennifer
much better
Hale.
than the guy. Yeah,
Jennifer
she's so much better than the male. So.
Well, I mean, you're comparing one of the greatest voice actors of our current day against some guy.
I understand.
I mean,
I get it. I know, but I know. She's so good in it.
It's been said by I'm not sure this was in terms of communications, but if there was ever a Mass Effect movie, it's going to be Femme Shep.
I would.
So I think we'll probably.
I think we might run into that gender bias thing there, and it will be male.
Okay, so the third one you linked states in the article that some gender breakdowns are particularly skewed, is in 2012 when the numbers were much closer to 60% men. So they're saying, okay, and then they say, well, a bunch of chicks went to see the Hunger Games, so that's proof that more women go to action movies than men. That's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
And then
well, he didn't say they did. They went to more movies in these kind of
yes, I mean, definitely more chicks went to see Divergent
that was
and
all
the
we
Hunger
said.
Games.
And then the very next article after that is 40% of the audience for Guardians of the Galaxy and for the Avengers were female.
Which means 60% was male.
Some nerds got girlfriends. Good for them.
like it.
So I have
Yes.
another important question to sidetrack this is,
We're not gonna know.
could Jennifer Hale pull off just a straight,
Just her in the thing?
yeah, just her being
Let me
like
see.
actual acting, not just voice acting? I mean, granted,
She's
everybody's Shepard's a little bit different because
older than you would expect Shepard to
be
be, but
honest,
yeah, probably.
I think she could pull it off. I mean, as of right now, they only did like 1 or 2 movies. I think she might be able to do it pretty well.
well, it would be pretty easy to, because there's a
She's just slightly older.
To be
That's all.
honest, when I heard that what's his name was going to take over for Indiana Jones again, I just automatically slapped my head.
no. I got it. Ready?
Okay.
Maybe you should make a female Indiana Jones.
You have Harrison Ford come back, but instead he is Sean Connery from
Is he alive?
The Holy Grail. No, you
Sean
just
Connery's
have
still
him be
alive.
Sean
Yes, he
Connery's
just-
look.
No,
you know
I know
how Sean
he is,
Connery
but,
was
like,
in the movie.
No,
What?
he's Sean Connery was the last time I think Sean Connery was actually in a movie was when it was Entrapment, and that was like almost
You're-
like 12 years
No,
ago.
there has to be one after. I'll bet.
You're missing what I'm trying to say.
Sean Connery is now officially retired. He will
He's
never
been
act
retired
again.
for quite some time.
2012. No, that doesn't count.
So
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 03. Wow.
So what you do is you have like how Sean Connery was in Holy Grail. You have Harrison Ford play that kind of role.
03 is very long ago, so I guess he is.
So he still was kind of active in that film. I mean, yeah, he wasn't there for like the first like hour, but he was there for the remaining part of it. He was a pretty
Right,
he
but
was
if
still
you-
a pretty big part.
Right, but compare that to how Crystal Skull was, where he was the main focus of the action compared to his son, where in Holy Grail Sean Connery was a support, like way more supporting than Harrison Ford was.
I think they just
Shia LaBeouf, what?
I think they should have just took that script out back and fired it. Literally.
We will also be moving up young Indiana Jones into an adult and not a stupid teenager. Like
Well, they're not bringing Shia LaBeouf back. They're making young Indiana Jones an actual adult. So who did they actually talk about being part of this film now?
I don't know. I just heard he was they were going forward with it, and he's in 5. I think that's really.
When I heard that, the first thing I did was I facepalmed so hard. I think my neighbor like down the road can actually hear me.
I mean, if they're going to really pass the torch, I don't think it's a big deal.
It should have passed the torch a
with the
while
way
ago.
that-
The fourth movie should have been the passing the torch, but it didn't do it.
I agree.
with
I
the
do
way
agree.
that The Force Awakens went, they could probably just remake Holy Grail with Holy Grail 2.
Is there another statistic thing here? Theatrical market.
If I could punch you through the
Statistics
internet, it
from
would just happen.
2014. Wow, this is really official documentation.
Yeah, MPAA loves their documentation.
Yeah,
Does this
that
prove
is
women went more? I don't want to read this.
straight
It's a
from the
pretty-
horse's mouth. Shows that the split is 52% for women versus 48% for men, and that's moviegoers. However, tickets sold
General.
is a true even 50-50 split.
But this is general, not for our
Not
film we're
action
talking
movies and
about.
stuff. It takes
Correct.
a
Yeah,
few-
that's
Yeah,
across
they have-
the.
All that.
What they do is they take exactly 5 action movies, and they cherry picked ones that obviously girls are going to go see.
Let's go to
more.
Rotten Tomatoes real
Yeah,
fast.
the MPAA is really good about cherry picking their data for research trends.
How do they count kids?
It seems, I don't know.
It's all broken down by age.
Like, all right, The Boss.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
women
all
are going to
age.
see that. Harker Henry, males.
That's definitely
That's
be
a
available
really-
to watch.
Yo, that's what we should
this
do. We should
movie.
all
Demolition,
We sh-
male.
get our phones on like supercharged up on Skype and bring extra battery charger thingies and just go sit and watch Hardcore Henry at the same time together.
I'll
Good luck on
I'll do
that one. I
that.
have a feeling if I go to the movie theaters, I'll probably be either stared at the whole entire time or punched for bringing my phone out the whole time.
My Big Fat
Well,
Greek Wedding, female.
Yeah, I'm in Austin.
Yeah.
You don't do that here.
God's not dead. Probably female.
I was about to say, you live in Austin, don't you? Don't you have like the Alamo Draft House? They
Virgin
literally boot your
female.
ass out and ban you for
Yeah,
that.
you will lose your seat
Mhm.
the second that phone comes out. Yeah.
But
I
I
mean-
mean, just looking on Rotten Tomatoes right now, it's like a 50-50 split of movies you would think that males
Speaking
and
of, they
females would
actually
see anyway.
They recorded a special "Don't Talk, Don't Text" thing for Hardcore Henry with Copley Rooster Teeth
The Rooster
filmed
Teeth
it.
people did it.
Who plays the main guy anyway?
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Rooster Teeth people. I've been a fan of the Red versus Blue stuff for like years. So.
Yep.
Did they tell you who the main actor is? That's
the main actor is he's a silent protagonist essentially in Hardcore Henry.
I understand, but you think he looks in the mirror in the movie?
No,
I think they did in Doom.
They purposely did that. I think they purposely did not look inside the mirror just because
I can't even find a cast for that person. Like it's not easy.
God, you're bringing back terrible memories for that awful first-person segment in Doom.
I thought that was the only cool part of Doom.
By reminding
to
me.
be honest, I actually when I watched that movie,
it's like the only part I thought was
I
cool.
think Brandon and Summer are both right on that. It was a piece of crap, but it was the best part of that movie.
Oh, fair enough.
When
right.
movie was bad.
So when Nine Inch Nails came back to my life again.
Absolutely right.
So, moving off of that subject, I think. Well, segueing.
Oh, a segue.
John, nice. I'm sure you have a story for us about one of your many Tinder dates. That.
John, you there?
The part where he starts talking, but he's muted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
John, you're muted again.
Either that or he's on the phone swiping right. Either way.
Yep, that could be the case. Either way, let's. Well, I mean, as we got into the movies, we probably should go to our second favorite subject over here: is video games. I know a lot of people here are PC players. However, does anyone actually have a PS4 or a console other than a PC?
I've got an Xbox 360 that's been used in quite a long time.
I had an Xbox 360 before I red ringed it, so that was the last console I owned. I said no more with the peasantry. PC is the platform for me.
Okay, I still have some of my consoles because they're just. You know, when you got friends who don't have PCs, that's what you do.
The only time I do it is if there's like an exclusive I have to get. And it's just like,
so one of the things I realized, after Rob also brought it up, was the ending controversy. Has anyone actually heard about the ending controversy that's going to happen with the ending controversy, Uncharted 4?
What's the controversy? I never heard of it. I didn't hear of it.
Basically, what happened is that they're saying that the endings they're already going back looking at the ending, and I think they're probably going to change it just a little bit because the ending it's one of those things where they're already hinting that the ending is going to be kind of polarizing for people, the same way as like Mass Effect 3 kind of did it, because this is supposed to be the end of Nathan Drake. Like, you're not going to see any more games of him as the main character.
I don't think you need to kill someone to make a good ending, but that's.
I don't think they're really going to kill him. But the whole point is, we're no longer going to use this character. We will make Uncharted games. We just won't make it about this beloved character.
What was the zombie game that was made by the same people? Was that Dying Light? Something else.
There's many zombie games. Are you thinking about Dead Rising?
The same company made, the same developers made Uncharted and made a zombie game, and apparently they're linked universes where
you're thinking what you're thinking of is The Last of Us, not Dying Light. Dying Light was made by the same people who made Dead Island.
Good.
Yes, I loved Last of Us. I thought it was a very powerful movie. I mean, a very powerful game. And to be honest, a lot of people are still pissed that they took away your agency at the end of it. Fuck them.
That's where I thought the game was just so good, because all of a sudden the main protagonist had been slipping through my fingers the whole entire game, and all of a sudden he's just gone, and I'm just like sitting there dumbfounded as I'm like, am I doing this? And it's just so it's exactly what you said. You just lose the agency, but I just thought it was so cool for me. It's just like this guy became real. So, I'm just like, oh my god.
So here's another question then.
That's how I felt then.
When it comes to storyline and when it comes to video games, there's a lot of agency of how you can actually do things.
Of course.
If the developer takes away the agency, do you really think it affects the gameplay that much on a storyline that they want to present to you?
I thought in that game it did make it better.
Yeah, it depends entirely on how it's portrayed and how the game is actually executed. Mm-hmm. You can take away a whole lot of player agency, like almost. Well, I'll use an example that's very famous. You can put the entire game on rails. Nothing the player does matters unless you're killing enemies and moving things forward. And
like
still
Mass Effect 3.
No. You're
no.
You're just witch hunting now. Go away.
Yeah.
You can put everything 100% on rails. Players' actions mean absolutely fuck all, and still have what is lauded as one of the greatest games of all time in Half-Life 2.
Star Wars Rebel Assault.
I never thought of Half-Life 2.
Star Wars Rebel Assault. Oh god, it's been a while since I've seen that.
That's right. I'm gonna reach deep back into history, even before Half-Life and Half-Life 2.
Yeah, that's all you do. You just hit the nostalgia button so hard, man.
I mash it down to the first knuckle.
Just all the way in.
Right, but yeah, no, you. I think what pisses players off. I know what pisses me off. It's not taking away my agency. It's taking away my competence. I can play a game where I am an ultimate badass, like I am doing all the reaction moves right, I am mowing down legions of mooks, leaving nothing but bodies and blood in my wake, and then the cutscene starts and I get dropped by a 6-year-old waif with a taser.
Yeah.
Yo, I straight up refused to play the Fallout 3 Pit DLC because of that.
What is it?
The Pit DLC. The Pit DLC for Fallout 3?
Stop eating while talking.
I can't remember.
There is DLC where it starts with your character literally just getting blindsided.
Oh yeah, I guess you get Metroided. That's right.
Yeah,
right.
And you have nothing. You have no say in it. You get no agency whatsoever. You have no competence.
That happens with Dead Money as well.
Yeah.
Dead Money did it slightly better.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Like, because you really weren't expecting a gas attack to hit right there, or the EMP, or whatever the hell it was. That totally made sense. The Pit, a little less so. I knew it was coming, so I just dumped everything into a dumpster just outside, and yeah, I need to go out there. And they're like, all right, go on, slave. And then I walked back in with all my swag, and that was that.
But it's like I'm walking around in full power armor, carrying literally 500 rounds of ammo for every single different gun that I have, at least. And some asshole with a pipe is going to knock me out? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Right, so that's not removing agency, that's removing competence, and those are two completely different things.
And
I can't think of another game.
Has aliens, and they're allowed to take my stuff because their technology is vastly superior to me.
Yeah, someone in the chat just jumped in saying, like when you're a complete badass, but then you die because you missed the real-time event.
Yes, terrible.
Yeah, those are fun.
You mean basically like Tomb Raider all over again?
Well, Tomb Raider is fine though for me because right after you died, it was hit a button, you're back into it. It's not, well, you got to go through 5 minutes of gameplay before you can get this back to the QuickTime event and start it over.
Well, they kind of changed. I think
QuickTime events were actually done well as God of War, where you fail a QuickTime event, it's not instant death, except in one circumstances.
Yeah. Last of Us, that was the one time, and I'm sure there's others. There was probably definitely others I'll think of, but that they take it away from you, and obviously they're expecting to make a decision, like a Mass Effect, do you want to do this or not? And I just don't get it, and that made the character more real for me.
There's a rare few games out there where I've ever been pissed off when agency is lost on me. I always took it as a way for the developer to tell me a story.
A good one where I thought I lost it and got it and yeah. What am I trying to say? So there's this part in Deus Ex that you crash the helicopter. I can't remember the girl's name that's flying you to the mission, and she's like, "Go run away," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to run away!" But then I'm like, "Well, wait, what if I try and save her?" And that was the one, that was like the reverse of Last of Us, where I'm just like, I actually grabbed the hold of like what I thought I could do. And then you can actually save her there, and it's really cool. And I had talked to people that played that part too, and they were like, oh, I thought you had to run away. She says, run away, you're going to die. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Well, that was a storyline effect that you could put in. And Deus Ex had quite a bit of that.
So Brandon mentioned God of War. Apparently they've announced God of War 4. And it's going to be Norse mythology.
Yeah, we're going north to kill them.
Apparently, there's no Greek gods left after 3 God of Wars already. So
yeah, no, Kratos has killed them all. Now he's going north.
Hopefully they use just a different guy.
Seriously? That's what he's doing?
Hopefully it's just like God of War.
I don't know. I know absolutely nothing.
I honestly thought they should have gone to Rome instead and just be like, oh, hey, it's all you guys. This is where you went. And then he just starts over.
I figured it out.
I hope he's done. It's just a new person. But that's...
No. So this is the birth of Christianity. Kratos kills all other gods, becomes God.
That would be amusing, but in terrible.
This is
they
one
would be burned down.
This is one of those moments where I have to do the Nolan, what's it called, Inception picture.
We're not doing the Inception sound effect.
Yeah, we can easily make that happen.
From this call, don't do it.
Huh? I'm not doing it. Under 4 seconds, right?
Under 4 seconds.
I thought it was 7 before.
Is that even copyrighted, to tell you the truth?
I don't think it is. They use it in everything during that time. That every trailer just had it.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of trailers still do have it.
I think Rogue One had it. I really think it did. I'm not joking. I think Rogue One did have it.
It makes anything that should be like tense automatic laughable at that point in time.
I think Daredevil 2 trailer had it. I'm not gonna lie. I think I've heard it a bunch of times in the last month.
I know Daredevil 2 is supposed to be awesome. I mean, Daredevil is supposed to be awesome. I got through the 6th episode and stopped watching it for some reason. Don't know why.
First season?
Yeah. Probably because I'm so used to watching I think what kind of really bothered me with Daredevil was watching Kingpin. And, I didn't really know who Kingpin was when I was a little bit younger. The only thing I had was a Spider-Man Kingpin. And he was completely and utterly different. So it just makes me wonder: is this how Kingpin's supposed to be? Or
okay.
This is Daredevil. The first season is as much an origin story of Daredevil as it is an origin story for Kingpin. Yeah. So you start seeing how he becomes the actual Kingpin that you kind of know from the comics.
I thought he was great.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. When I see Vincent D'Onofrio play that character, it's him no matter what. Like I don't think he really changes when he plays when he does an acting role.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's not fair, though.
No.
That's not.
Criminal Intent for Law and Order. It's the same.
Private Pile.
I've never seen it.
Well,
what about 13th Floor? Isn't he 13th Floor?
The Roach from
Men in Black? He's in a video program. Ooh. Yeah. See.
Better. That better.
He's in. What else is he in? Oh, he's in Jurassic World. That's right. He wants raptor guys with laser beams attached to their heads.
Jurassic World? Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in Jurassic World.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, I have the DVD. I've not seen it yet.
The main problem with Daredevil Season 1 is that they blow their whole wad on their coolest fight scene, is their first fight scene when he's in the hallway, and the fight between Daredevil and Kingpin at the end is so bad. So bad.
I think it's because they really wanted to pay homage to their fight in the comic that it probably didn't pan out too well, where they fight in the alleyway in the rain, so. I feel like that was the problem.
Season 2 is much better, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Sit down and watch it.
Oh my god.
Although,
I can't say anything because it's Sarah, but.
And then PX comes back on Netflix, so that's gonna be fun.
I just remember I started watching it at I finished an episode of Gamers Tavern, posted it online. Finally, I can now start watching. I'll just watch a couple episodes, then I go to bed. 6 a.m. the next morning, I'm like, okay, if I do not get sleep, I am going to turn into a zombie. I was not tired. I wanted to go finish off those last 4 episodes, but.
The only problem for me with Daredevil Season 1, and this is not really a spoiler, but they lose their steam at the end. It's almost like they feel like because they had to make 13 episodes, and it's well, if you could have done it in 10, it would have been so much better.
Yeah, we're planning on doing a podcast about Season 2 of Daredevil, but yeah, the ending kind of fell apart. But but it's more than made up with a lot of the good that comes early on.
Of course.
That first 4-episode arc is amazing.
For 2? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my god. I want to watch it again.
Okay. So.
Yeah, you gotta watch it, Sarah.
Yeah, you definitely do. I agree.
So,
but John, I'm sure there's a Daredevil-ish story that you have for us because I've been trying to get one of these stories into the cast.
Okay, so I haven't told any of these on air yet.
I'm not allowed to. Next question.
No. I got bags of awful dates. Okay, so for the audience that doesn't know, I'm the dirtiest manho who's ever lived, like by far. Like second place is so far behind, it's not even funny. It's not.
Mo is kind of the personification of John over there.
Real life John. It's not that I'm any craftier or better looking than anyone. It's that I have nothing better to do with my life.
You cast a wide net.
I cast a wide net, and then I steal other people's nets and cast them even wider or something. All the fishes. But okay, so I went on a Tinder date. I'll start with some small ones and work my way up. Went out with a girl who's flagrantly racist. She showed up 50 pounds heavier than her photo. Dropped the N-bomb twice. That one was really uncomfortable. I went on a date with a French girl who was a hunchback.
Oh,
what?
So
what?
So
that's no.
So we're supposed to meet up.
You opened up this one. You need to tell this story.
Oh no! Don't worry. I'm on it. So we're supposed to meet at this Italian place, right? And so she's like, okay, meet me there at 6. I'm like, all right. So I got my good shirt on. I'm in the restaurant, 6 o'clock, and I'm waiting. I start texting some friends and stuff, and it's like 6:20 by the time she shows up. Now, the picture she put up online, she looked like kind of like the low rent Cameron Diaz. Like super tall, like smiley. She comes through that door. She's got like kyphosis or something, like straight up hunchback, like for real. I'm not messing around. Like she's leaned over and stuff. And it's like in my gym, there's dudes who there's a guy who doesn't care no matter what your thing is. Like if a girl's got more weight on her or something, there's some dudes in my gym, that's their whole thing. They want 2 servings. You know what I'm saying? But you can't put up the Cameron Diaz pictures, then you can't promise the Rolling Stones, then bring out New Kids on the Block. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so she walks right up to the table, and like if you'd seen a French person this tropey in a movie, you'd like said they went too far. Like you're like, oh, nobody's that French. So she walks it up and she goes, where were you? And I'm like sitting in the restaurant. I'm like, fucking sitting in the restaurant we agreed to meet at. And then she looks at me like totally seriously. She's like, in France, we meet outside the restaurant and go in together. So my gut reaction was like, welcome to America, bitch. But I didn't say that, obviously. Yeah, I probably should have. No, this gets better.
Oh, it's already tickling my wrist, man.
We're warming up. She's warming up. So she sits down, and I just, I go through the normal first date, like, oh, what were you doing in France? Why do you come out to the U.S.? What are you doing for work out here? And I'm just, like, totally going through, like, the normal first date questions. And then she's, like, she stops me, and she's like, you ask a lot of questions, don't you? Like, she's pissed off. Yeah, because, like, one thing I know for sure, chicks hate it when you ask them questions on a first date. That's every girl's dream. She gets home, she's like, he didn't ask me any questions. It was great. Yep. So, she's
kept
like,
your mouth shut and you paid for the meal. It's good.
Yeah, it's good. But no, so she but like she's actually a little bit famous now at my gym and doesn't like know it. I've obviously told other people about this. So like pretty much standard procedure at my gym is like you're teaching a move or something. You're showing somebody like a Kimura. And then if like one of the students is like, hey, so when you're doing that, do you want to like move your foot to the left or like kind of slide it underneath? You look them right in the eyes and go, you ask a lot of questions, don't you? So it's company policy. You have to say you ask a lot of questions in a French accent. But so, all right, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, shit, no questions. Okay. So like, well, I run this gym and I do these MMA fights and jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then like 2 minutes in, she's like, you talk a lot, don't you? So don't ask her questions. Stop talking about me. So we're sitting there in like the world's most uncomfortable silence in this restaurant. But I finally get her talking about what she wants to talk about, which is coffee. Fucking coffee. Black coffee, European coffee, espresso. Fuck Starbucks, it is bullshit. Starbucks, it is mochachinos. That's not even a real thing. So she's like, she does a good 10 minutes on coffee, and I'm just like totally asleep at the wheel, just imagining the second I get to go home from this awful date. But so she's really intense about how much Starbucks sucks. But so finally she starts in, her big life goal is she wants to open up like a really trendy, kind of chic European coffee bar, right? And I live in sort of like a, I don't know, like a schmancy, fancy, like high-end county or whatever. So people definitely like a trendy European coffee bar. You can make money at that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, you could. That's actually not a terrible idea. You get that on the right road, close to the freeway. You can make a killing. She's like, and the baristas will only speak to you in French. So that's when the train went right off the tracks, and I'm
I can automatically tell from here. It's like, you're starting to lose me now.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that last part. She's like, what? You do not have some students that speak French? And I'm like thinking about all like 200 people in my gym, and I'm like, yeah, no,
I
not
even have like
one.
2 people who can speak it itself.
Yeah, not even one.
So you should make a Spanish coffee shop.
Straight up. This chick, she's like, well, I was reading a scientific study that said in 100 years, the primary language spoken on Earth will be French.
So I will so much money.
You realize you're speaking to an idiot. Okay, I have average intelligence at best. I had average intelligence before I got hit in the head 10,000 times. But I know enough to know that's not a thing. And I'm just like, French, huh? You don't think in 100 years, if the primary language spoken on Earth isn't still English, it won't be like, I don't know, like Mandarin or Spanish? When I said Spanish, the look on her face, like she got so offended. Like no matter what I said to her, she couldn't have like the look of shock and horror, and like her mouth is open, eyes are wide. Like if I just said to her, like, listen, I know we just met, but I'm shooting a porno in the parking lot after this. Would you consider? Same look on her face. Exact same look on her face. Like she's like Spanish. And she like goes off on this rant. She does like 5 minutes on how like Spanish is the ugliest language, and I don't know what I'm talking about, and blah blah blah. Like, she's freaking out. And then she works Starbucks in there again, and so I'm just sitting there, just like, oh god, I want to go home. But then it comes to me, my sassy parting line. I'm gonna give her a little bit of sass on the way out. So we get done with dinner. She mentioned Starbucks once or twice more, so we're getting up to go, and she's like, well, do you want to go get dessert or something? And I'm like, oh man, actually I can't. I'm kind of late. I gotta go somewhere. She's like, where are you going? And I'm like, Starbucks, bye, and run off the other direction real quick.
That's a win. That's a win, my friend.
It would have been a win if I hadn't. She like totally short-dicked the check, and like yeah.
Short dick the check. That's a new
hate people who don't tip.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it also sucks too because it puts you in this weird place where
you
like
have to cover them, like
exactly.
You have to. I've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah, it's hella awkward. Okay, so I have even worse ones if you guys need more airtime, but I can also...
Oh, please. One more at least. We need to have at least one more.
We need more of these. These are great.
Okay.
These are like some of the things I kind of like I love to listen to as soon as we get done with the game.
Okay, Big Daddy here. Big Daddy. This isn't the worst date I've been on. This is the worst date anyone's ever been on. This is like the worst date, and I don't feel bad about building this up because it's that good, bad, or whatever. So...
Wow.
Hold on, let me just make sure.
Sorry,
Speaking of which, let me just make sure a chick isn't waiting outside my apartment right now. No, I'm good. Okay. No, everything's cool. Don't worry. I live on the second story and have security doors for my building. I'm cool.
We all kind of did the really? Oh, okay. All right.
No, I'm just had to check something out real quick. Don't worry, we're all good. So after enough of these bad dates, my best buddy, Kristen, she was like, okay, dude, you need a better vetting process. And so we came up with the idea, I'm going to talk to these chicks on the phone first. Because with the text, you can't always hear the crazy through text. When you hear the voice, you can hear the crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is going to work perfectly. How could this go wrong? How could it go wrong?
When you tempt fate, we already know what happens.
So So I'm talking to this girl on the phone. She seems a little bit shy, but I talk enough for like 3 people, so maybe that's a better match. Anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but so we're gonna. She says she wants to go to an Indian restaurant. I'm not a huge fan of Indian food, but I'm like, okay, whatever. So she also mentioned she owns her own house, and like once again, the county where I live is like the houses are unbelievably expensive. So I'm like, oh shit, this girl's like 27 and owns her own house. She's like really got her shit together. Her dad bought it for her. Didn't figure that out until we were on the date. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we could definitely tell just by the sound of that.
Yeah. So
I go to need anything.
She's in the super high end neighborhood, and I'm gotta admit I'm a little bit nervous. You know, once again, got my good shirt on. It's got buttons and everything. So
is it the same good shirt?
It's a different good shirt.
Okay.
I have more than one good shirt.
From the sounds of things, it was only one good shirt that you owned.
I own more than one good shirt. I like to
continue,
but I also have 50 pairs of shoes. I can put up a picture if you guys want me to. So I go up to the door and it's ding dong, and so she opens the door and she's like, "Oh hey, like, nice to meet you. Could you just wait here like 1 minute, real quick? Just like 1 minute." And I was like, sure. So she leaves me standing out on the porch, right? So I'm just kind of standing there and I'm like waiting like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I'm just standing there. And so finally like the door's cracked and I'm out there long enough. I'm like, what's going on? So I just kind of like give the door just like a little tap ski, you know what I mean? And it opens a little bit.
Yeah.
So I peek my head in the apartment. Like her condo is like all effed up.
Whoa.
Like there's no furniture anywhere. Okay? Like zero furniture. Everything's in boxes like she just moved in. But it's like February and she told me she'd moved in at the beginning of the school year, like in August. And so these boxes are arranged like no normal human being would arrange boxes. Like they're all off center and they're in weird plate. Like there's a plate on top of a box like she's using as a table. Okay?
No human could stack books like this.
Yes, exactly. There we go. No human would stack boxes. So there's one lamp in the center of the room, dead center in the middle of the room, 2 extension cords leading it to the wall. There's newspapers laid down around the fireplace, right? Like for like a cat or a dog or something. But when we were talking on the phone, she told me she didn't have any pets. And there are these like jagged holes someone has knocked in the wall, like 1 foot in diameter, holes in the drywall. Like somebody took a ball peen hammer and just like went to town. There's like loose sheetrock underneath them. And there's like 5 or 6 of these things, like totally like 1 in one wall, 2 in another one. Some are low, some are high. And it's just like it's like I'm looking at like a crack house or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And like I was like in shock almost. Like I should have just run off, but I was just like standing there like, what? And so from like down the hallway where the bedrooms are and stuff, I hear this weird sound. Hold on, here's the sound.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? A sea serpent? Like I was just like standing there like, what the fuck? And so
seriously? All right.
Yeah, so she comes out and she's like sees that I'm seeing her messed up apartment. She's like, oh, they were doing construction. Total lie. But yeah, she slams the door, right? So we're walking out to my car, and I should have like just run off, but I was like, I don't know. But
man.
So we're walking. Oh yeah, no, we're walking out to my car. So we walk by her car. It's like in her parking spot. She's like, oh, this is my new Mini. Blah 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 blah. So we're walking to my car, and she's like, you're pretty short, huh? So for the listeners, I am 5'9" when I'm wearing my lifts. But so she's like, you're pretty short, huh? Ain't the first time somebody hit old Krabby John with that one. So I'm like, I'm not short. I'm just unusually not tall. And like, she didn't even smile. I'm just like, oh shit, it's gonna be a long night. So she makes the proclamation she doesn't want to go to Indian food anymore. She wants to go to Pacific Catch, right? Do they have those all over the country, or do we need to explain what that is?
You're gonna have to.
You're probably gonna have to explain that.
It's a crappy chain seafood restaurant, 1 cut above Sizzler.
So like
okay, so we're talking Red Lobster.
Yeah, we're talking Red Lobster. Like basically, she's like, I don't want to go to this high-end Indian food spot anymore. I want to go to Red Lobster, and I'm like, okay.
Red Lobster.
It was her idea in the first place. But I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get in the car.
Saves you money.
I'm just trying to get the party started. You know what I mean? So I start with the normal questions again. I like was remembering our phone conversation. I'm like, so you mentioned you had some siblings, huh? And she's like totally flat, like no emotion on her face. She's like, 2 brothers. I'm like, oh, are you guys close? She's like, not really. Like totally, like it's like you're playing handball against curtains. You're hitting it out correctly, it's not coming back to you. You're hitting it out correctly, it isn't coming back. So I'm just like she looks so disinterested. I'm literally just gonna be like, hey, you know, like, obviously you're not having a good time. Let me just take you home. We don't have to like pretend like and stay out on this date we're not having fun with. But so like right as I'm about to launch into that, I look over and she's got her mouth and she's doing like that, like smacking her lips together thing, and like licking her teeth. And I realize, no, she's stoned. She's like super high, right? Like baked, like so baked. And I'm like, I look over, I'm like, what did you just smoke? And she does like the stony laugh, the you know, like the cough laugh.
Oh my god.
And so she's like, yeah. So she looks at me, she says, but she laughs, she goes, yeah, I'm high as a Georgia pine. High as a Georgia pine. I've never heard that point in time.
This is when we hit John's funny bone, and he's like, "Oh, this is not too bad."
Well, it's also, it makes a little bit more sense when she wants to hit up Red Lobster. You know what I'm saying? She's like,
because you get that
cheddar biscuits.
But
yeah, there you go.
We're pulling up outside the Pacific Catch. They're closed because I forgot to mention that. Yeah, we were originally supposed to meet up at 6, but then she like called me. She's like, "Can we meet up at 9?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So they're closing because it's like 9:30 by the time we get there, and I'm like, "Shit." So I should have taken this as a perfect chance to pull the ejector lever on this date and just been like, "Oh well, I just gotta take you home." But I went to like stupid John problem solver mode, and I'm like, "No, there's gotta be somewhere that's open." Rabble.
Oh,
John, yeah.
I never knew that.
Well, here's the thing too. That's my impersonation of myself. But anyway, so she, but no, so I'm like, yeah, there's got to be somewhere else that's open. She's like totally straight faced. She's like, I don't like to change plans last minute. I'm like, fucking really? Okay. Yeah, but so I call around. There's only 2 places that's open. There's this really nice high-end Italian place, or there's California Pizza Kitchen.
CPK.
So if I've learned something about sales, always give people 2 options, even if one of them is terrible, just to give the illusion of choice. So I'm like, yeah, we could go to this, Gaspari's, or we could go to California Pizza Kitchen. So she looks at me with a straight face. She's like, well, I don't like Italian food, so let's go to California Pizza Kitchen.
Okay. What?
Pizza is
Also, I don't know if that was a very smart thing for her to have said or a very stupid thing.
She's higher than a kite at this point in time, man, ready to go off in the ether sphere.
I feel like somebody saying they don't like Italian food is kind of a red flag too. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I couldn't get married to somebody who wasn't into Italian food. I mean, maybe if they had like
really into Italian food, let's go get pizza.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm just like, we're pulling up outside CPK, and I'm just like, God damn it! Like, I didn't want to come here. So like, I open up the door for her. She walks in. She looks around the CPK, turns around, looks at me, and she's like, "You don't have very good taste in restaurants, do you?"
Oh.
I'm like, what was your mind to go here? Like,
you don't have good taste in walking home.
Yeah. So anyway, we sit down. I was at that point like figuring I might just walk off, but I was so hungry. I was like, shit, I gotta eat something, and it's like 10 at night. Mm-hmm. So we sit down, and she's gonna order a margarita. So she gets out her ID, and she's like, "Oh my god, whatever you do, don't look at my ID because it's really bad. So don't look at it."
Uh-huh.
So she wants me to look at the ID. It's the 5-year-olds I teach in my little dragons class play the same game. They're like, "Don't chase me, Mr. Lavin, don't chase me." Exact same game. Same game. They're better at it though. Much more believable. So I wait for the waitress to come by. Waitress takes the ID. She's looking at the ID, and I lean over and I look at her ID real quick, right? So it's me, her, waitress is standing right there. And she's like, "Did you just look at my ID? You're an asshole. ... And we're just
not wrong.
And the waitress is just standing there. Like I felt bad for me, but the waitress, and she says it again. She's like, "You're a fucking asshole." And she's just like, the waitress is like, the look on the waitress's face, she was so uncomfortable. She was considering lighting herself on fire so she had an excuse to run off. You know what I mean? Like she like anything except. And so waitress tries to jump in and save the day. She's got the idea. She's like, oh well, I think it's a totally good picture of you. I mean, your hair is different. Blah blah blah. And so she looks at the waitress. She's like, he's an asshole. The waitress is like, I'll be right back with those drinks. But she came back with the drinks. Like she didn't even stop her feet. It was like a drive by. Like she was like running with the drinks, like tossed them and kept going.
Yep.
But so I'm sitting there, and so she starts in on her life story, and it is a tale of woe. She's like, my parents, like they were super rich, but like they literally never spent any time with me. I was completely raised by my El Salvadorian au pair. And then they sent her away when I was 10. It was like losing my mom. And I was sitting there like, wow, that's a tough break there. And she like keeps
starting to get more uncomfortable by the moment.
She goes on. She's like, and then when I was in high school, I was like 15. I was like drinking really heavily, and I was like totally out of control. So my parents sent me off to wilderness school. You guys know what wilderness school is?
Nope.
Okay, so when kids, so it's basically like kid boarding school rehab out in the middle of Montana. Like if super like Beverly Hills kids, like super rich. Like they're spending $3,000 a week on coke and stuff. Literally, their parents hire these people, and they like black bag you. Like they grab you in the middle of the night and put you on an airplane, and you're staying in a house in Montana where there is nothing else for 20 miles, and it's 50 degrees below outside.
Like a Shadowrun. Montana, trust me, it's just as bad.
Yeah, it's there's no escape. Like there's no one who will mule in drugs for you. So it's like crazy forced teenage rehab. It's like the nutsest thing.
Yeah, that's enough to actually kill people.
Yeah,
it really is.
But yeah, so she's like, yeah. So then they sent me off to wilderness school, and so like I kind of cleaned up and stuff, and then I came back, and I was 18, and everything was cool at first. But then I made this friend Kim, and then like I was hanging out with her all the time. She was my really good friend, and she was like my first real friend ever, because like my parents wouldn't really let me like go outside and stuff. I just had to stay at home in this big mansion. She's like. But then, like, Kim was, like, really into Coke, so we were doing Coke every night, and I was drinking, like, a quart of Jack Daniels a day. And this girl's, like, 5'1", like 97 and a half pounds, quart of Jack Daniels a day. She looks like she can't even fit, like, a quart of anything in her body. But she's like, yeah, so then we were doing Coke every night, and we were drinking super heavily. But then, like, my friend Kim, like, she OD'd, and she died. And then I had, like, a mental breakdown, and I was, like, in a mental institution for a year. And so I'm just sitting there. Like, mouth is smiling, eyes are screaming. I'm just like, I need adult, red light, stranger danger.
Bad juju, don't want to be here.
Like, I feel sorry for her, but I'm also just like, I feel sorry for me, too. But so, yeah, she's like, yeah, so anyway, when I was in the mental institution, like, they gave me electroshock therapy, and, like, I have, like, super bad anxiety. And, they gave me all these, like, pills and stuff for anxiety, but none of it works. So, I have to, like, smoke pot. That's, like, the only thing that can calm me down. Like, when I saw you at the front door, I got, like, super nervous. So I went in the back and took a bong load to the face real quick. Her exact words.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
She's like, yeah. So, I mean, now I'm mainly just trying to stay out of trouble. I'm trying to stay sober, blah, 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 blah. Trying to stay sober. I don't know a lot about the 12 steps, but I'm pretty sure margaritas and bong loads to the face real quick are part of the 12 steps. But so okay, so Sonia, she's like, yeah, so I'm just like trying to stay sober and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so tell me about you. What's your story? So I'm just sitting there.
That's when the internal scream becomes external scream, right?
Yeah, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like, and so she just, oh shit.
Yeah, I think that's the precise words
No.
is actually acceptable.
I've painted myself into a corner with this story. Shoot.
Why is that?
Okay, the end of, whatever.
You paint yourself into a corner.
So the end of this story doesn't make sense unless okay, we're about to get real here on the Gamers Tavern podcast, okay? So I'm like kind of trying to like relate with her about some of the stuff that she's saying. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, let me tell you all about my friend Jimmy. So I'm trying to like real talk. I'm trying to be like, hey, I kind of like, I feel you. So I grew up with like a pretty crappy mom. Like, she was like always drinking and stuff. And when I was like 16, she like skipped town.
Oh.
Like, straight up, it was just me and her, and she like left. Like, it was just me and her living together, and then, like, I went to school to, like, wrestling practice, and when I came back at night, she had, like, moved out without telling me. So I had to, like, go from being in high school to, like, getting a job in 3 days. It was, like, the biggest bunch of bullshit ever. But so I'm trying to, like, kind of, like, relate to her, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I feel you. I had kind of a bad mom, too, blah, 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 blah. You know, I didn't get a chance to finish high school. I had to, like, get a job, and she's like, oh, my God, you didn't graduate from high school?
What a dick.
That's what she gathers from that. Not
what
like,
a dick.
I feel sorry for you, or, oh no, that's bad. She's like, you didn't graduate from high school? And then she's like, you can't get married if you haven't graduated from high school.
Is that actually a thing?
No, that's not a...
That's just her.
Maybe
that's
that
just her.
should be a law, but it's not a law. It's definitely not a real thing. So
that's just her trying to bail out now. It's like, oh, can't depend on you.
Well, so but like I own a gym. Like, anyway, so she's like, she's like, you can't get married if you haven't graduated from high school. And I'm like, wait a minute, like, what? That's not a real thing. So I'm like asking her questions, like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, no woman would marry you unless you graduated high school. And I'm like, I mean, for sure there's like women who, like, wouldn't consider getting involved with a guy unless he was, like, well educated and, like, stuff like that. But the chicks who are worried about that stuff, they want a guy with, like, a fucking PhD and a master's. Like, there's no woman in the world who's like, no high school diploma, GED, I'm listening. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like the GED is not the make or break on the girls who like the dudes with the education. So I pretty much say that to her, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. And then she looks at me and she's like, well, I can tell by the way you speak you're not educated.
I think that just kind of, a lot of people just kind of went like, pull the ejector.
Yeah, that's when my famous kind streak came to an end. I was about to stand up and be like, listen, bitch. But then, like, I stopped, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, no one would say that to you unless they were trying to get your goat. Like no one would say that to you unless they're trying to start an argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one says that then expects to have the rest of their dinner. And I realized, like, this is her thing. She's been trying to start a fight with me all night. She's like, oh, you don't have very good taste in restaurants. You're pretty short, huh? I don't like to change plans last minute. She's been needling me. She's like, she hates her dad or something like that. She's like, oh, all men are assholes, and I'm going to prove it. So I'm going to go out on dates with dudes and then make them blow up and yell at me, and then I prove to myself all men are jerks. You know what I mean? Like there's something wrong with her. Like, she's trying to get me to blow up. So I'm like, I'm not going to fall into this chick's weird little whatever. Okay? I'm not going to freak out and yell. That's what she wants. In fact, I'm going to do the opposite of that. I'm going to be a perfect gentleman. I'm going to be polite. I'm going to be like caricature of a gentleman. I'm going to be like Sir Walter Raleigh. Okay? I'm going to drop this chick off, and I'm going to never call her again. And 3 or 4 days from now, she's going to be sitting in that weird apartment by herself, and she's going to be like, he was nice and not ugly. So I'm like, you know what? That's your opinion. Blah, 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 blah. I think I sound very educated. Yada, yada, yada. Oh, shit. Hold on. Somebody's at my door. Give me 1 second, guys.
No!
And this is how
she found
Tracked him down.
Oh. It was good. It's like
that was 4 days ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been murdered. Don't worry. I haven't been murdered. I'm okay.
No, we yeah.
All right.
I have not been murdered. Okay. So, all right. So yeah. So she's like, oh, I can tell whether you speak you're not educated. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, that's your opinion. Whatevs. So we finish with dinner. We get up to leave. We walk out of the restaurant, and then she's like, okay, well, I had a really good time. See you later. And she starts walking off. I drove us there.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, are you meeting somebody? Like, where are you going? And she's like, I'm going to my car. Like, totally straight-faced. And I'm like, I drove us here? And so she looks down at the ground, and she starts blinking, right? And, like, her head is kind of twitching a little bit. And she stares at the ground for like 20 or 30 seconds, like straight up. And she's like, "Oh yeah, you did drive us here."
Wait, did you hear like the Microsoft boot up noise happen during
Exactly. Exactly. But no, but that's when I realized this chick is so high on pot, and she's drunk, and she's taken weird anti-anxiety medications and electroshock therapy, and she was crazy to begin with. Like, she forgot I had driven us there. Like, she's having memory problems. I'm like on a date with a dude from the movie Memento. Like her memory is like when she's like, "Oh, I don't like changing plans last minute." She'd forgot she'd changed plans. When she was like, "You don't have good taste in restaurants," she forgot it was her idea to go there. Like, she doesn't know whether it's raining or Tuesday. Like, this chick is completely out of it. Like, she's literally like, she has like serious problems. And I'm just standing there like looking at her, and she's just sort of like looking at me, smiling, kind of like blinking, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like, she probably has like a caretaker or something. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way like this girl's living by herself. You know what I mean? Like, she can't. You know what I mean? She can't take care of herself.
Yeah,
So
I think what happened to her is like,
yeah, and I'm like, I just like felt like really like I wasn't even like mad. Obviously, I was just like, "Oh man, like, let me take you home." Like, wow, this, yeah. But so we get in my car, and I'm driving her back to her place, and she's like, "I wouldn't have told you should go back to school if I'd known you were gonna get so upset."
What?
Yeah, I'm like, that's fucking not even what's happening right now. Like, what?
Okay, so
like,
the boot up sound from the boot up sound told her that to go back to a certain time frame, and unfortunately, kind of skipped everything in between.
But anyway, so I pull it up outside her place, and I just want to be like, "Oh my god, just get out of my car, get out of my car, get out of my car." So she looks over at me and like kind of flips the hair a little bit, and she's like, "So do you want to come in?" And she winks at me.
So you obviously go in.
So in my head, I'm thinking like, as much as I'd love to catch chlamydia, I think I'm cool. But I'm just like, "Oh, you know, those shrimp I ate. I think they weren't oh man, I'm feeling not that great." And she's like, "Are you sure?" And the hand starts creeping. The hand's creeping across and like seriously, I'm like flattened against the driver's side door. Like, I'd never wished there was another 3 feet of car to the left before. But I'm just like, "Oh no, seriously, I feel really bad in my stomach and stuff. I gotta go. Anyway, bye." So she's like, "Okay, well, your loss." You know, she says something like that. But then she gets up and, you know, she walks out. And as she's walking away, she's doing like the comically big hip sway. Like, "Look at all this booty you're missing out on." You know what I mean? As she's walking away. Joke's on her because I'm not looking. I'm fucking flooring it. And the car is like driving the other direction. And I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
So how much did it cost to replace the nail gouges you put in the window of your car trying to get away from her?
Yeah, no, they're still there.
You
They're
need
still
to
there.
detail the whole again, so
Keeping there as a reminder. But no, so I get home and I'm just like, "Oh my fucking!" I tell my buddy about it. She used to live next door or whatever. So anyway, so I'm just like, "Oh god." Next morning, get a text from Crazy Pants. She's like, "Hey, had a really great time last night. Can't wait to see you again." Now I do not respond. I do not respond, mind you.
Good boy. Good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Don't respond. 2 or 3 days later, it's like, "Hey, so me and my friend Janet are going to this concert. You should come with us." No response from me. A couple days later, "Hey, so I'm busy on Friday and Saturday night, but I'm free on Sunday if you want to do something." No response. So this is how it goes for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like, no response on my end. And then the bikini pictures start showing up. The first one's like, it's just like neck down, so no face, but she's like, "Hey, I got this new bathing suit. What do you think?" And so no response on my end. And then like the pictures start getting more racy.
At this point.
she sends me like, "Oh, here's my new piercing." And so I still don't respond. So the final picture is just leg spread, the item.
Wow.
Yeah, just the whole shebang-a-bang. Full porno. And it's just, the text with it is, you know, "Come over, bring condoms." And that is how I learned how you block a number on your cell phone. So you can learn a lot from stories. I'm not sure what you can learn from that story, but you can learn a lot from stories. The end.
Yeah. God damn it.
That while you may not have graduated high school, you were well educated enough to know not to stick your dick in crazy.
Yeah, that's you only make that mistake once or twice. But yeah, so well, the big kicker to this, and that was like going on 4 years ago now or something like that. My buddy matched up with her on like Match.com or something. Whoa. After that, and he almost went out with her. And then I like he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going out with this chick on Friday." I see the picture. I'm like, "No." So yeah.
Run away!
Luckily, like,
Run away!
I jumped on. Yes, I jumped
Save
on that
yourself.
landmine. But yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
So yeah, that happened.
That's
Well,
John,
I thought I had that story figured out. Like, when it got to the end.
no, just straight up amazing, I have to say.
But we all just keep trying.
Yeah, true.
That's the thing. You don't give up after something like that. You double down.
Well,
all right. Well, I don't really know how the segue. Thank you.
I got a segue that uses the crazy angle to get us back into video games.
Shit!
Have you guys heard that Jim Sterling has been officially sued by Digital Homicide?
That happened a while.
For what?
$10 million. They actually filed.
For what?
Who is that?
Jim Sterling.
I know Jim Sterling is, but what do you?
Right.
Have you ever seen The Escapist?
So, Jim Sterling and Digital Homicide have had a feud for something like a year and a half now. Basically, Jim gave them what was truthfully an honest review for the shovelware that they were shitting out. And then they took offense to that and tried to attack him. And Jim, being the reciprocal asshole that he is, decided to say, "Oh, well, you want to start a fight? Here, let me do some digging on you." And because he has contacts in the games industry, he's able to get data that normal people aren't, and finds out that these guys have like 3 or 4 other companies selling the same shovelware as different games. He brings all this to light and apparently causes them to lose $10 million. And the tirade that Digital Homicide goes on is something of legendary proportions. They go so far as to attempt to ban him from, I believe it was E3 or GDC, one of the two. They try to officially ban him from a convention just to say, just to spite him.
Wow. I also had his YouTube channel taken down for a while until he was able to dispute that, because they were claiming that it wasn't fair use because it wasn't a fair review of the game.
Yeah,
I'm not lying. That's in the lawsuit they filed.
God.
That doesn't. But it's one of those things where logic must proceed in order to complete your thoughts, because it's
logical.
Please note that Digital Homicide does not currently have legal representation. They filed this themselves because they have a crowd fund, a GoFundMe up for people to donate for them to hire a lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they keep having to take it down like once a week or so because people will go in and donate a penny, which actually loses them money because they have to pay the credit card transaction fees.
Yep.
Nice. I like that.
So you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do. That's how you do it.
That's pretty good.
So, I'm not condoning people to do this. I'm just making everybody aware that this is a thing you can do if you don't like Digital Homicide. Those of you listening, just know your options.
Think about it.
I'm not condoning it.
Gamers Tavern does not condone using completely legal methods that just because they're too stupid to set a minimum donation amount on their website kind of makes it their own thing. We do not condone this.
Why'd you have to say that? You told them.
Fix it in post.
If they were listening, they would already have filed suit against me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is worth it.
And then a week from now, we're going to be hearing about Gamers Tavern getting sued by Digital Homicide.
Oh.
Here is an actual quote from the lawsuit. On April 24th, 2015, the defendant states in the article, quote, being as sly as the wet bandits, unquote, comparing the plaintiff to an incompetent thief, reference to the movie Home Alone. In context with the stolen image and wrongdoing of corporate name impersonation that further tarnishes the plaintiff's reputation, please see attachment 1. So, because he made a Home Alone reference, that is now part of the count. This is count 6 of the libel per quote.
God.
Wow. Okay.
If that ever goes in front of a judge, it's going to get laughed out of the building.
I kind of wish
when talking to Destructoid, when they got a statement, they said that we hope that this case and documentation will show others that they don't have to take it, what to do when it happens, and those who do it will be punished. And reprinting defamatory materials in your own words would result in liability on your part. So, yeah, digital homicide's kind of gone insane.
Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, there's points of times where when you make a game, you there's been lots of people out inside the world, at least on the YouTube side, who when they make games, they put the whole entire heart into it. I understand, yes, and sometimes when you put your whole entire heart in it, it's not loved by a lot of people. Sometimes they're vocal, sometimes they're not. There's got to be a point in time when you're going to realize that I need to develop at least some sort of skin before I can actually do all this work.
Right, but that's not what digital homicide was doing. They were taking quite literally recreate like Unity assets, putting them together, putting a stamp on it, saying that it's a game, and saying that it's Steam.
Yeah, it was pre-rendered sprites that they and they also they've gotten proof that at least some of those were used without license.
Wow. So this could actually be used for a lawsuit for something else then, because they need to bring that information into the light.
Oh,
or the potential.
This was about a year and a half ago when they I think this was they attacked Jim, and then Jim Sterling came back, and then someone else posted a video saying, "Hey guys, you might want to check this out." And then even Angry Joe has posted about it.
Wow.
Like months later saying, yeah, by the way, here's the proof that they've stolen these assets.
God, just the amount of work that's been used at this point in time. You wonder, right?
It's one of those, at what point do you just cut your losses and realize
after you get $10 million?
Yeah. Or at least you lose more.
That's it.
It's I don't know if I really want to bring this up, but I maybe a small discussion of it, especially since it's already hit one of us pretty hard, is the where's the fair use item. I think we may have already discussed it before. Have you remembered the whole thing about where's the fair use?
I ranted about it on Twitter because I was pissed.
No, I don't. Explain it to me. I don't know. Might be missing what you're saying too.
Okay. Well, okay. So typically when you use items, okay, I've never been the best at saying this, but here, let me try.
Sure.
So when you do a review of something, you typically have like someone who pre-renders everything. You play the game, you try it out, and you kind of look into it. The biggest problem is though that when you're trying to make money off a review, you have to show the gameplay. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, well, we are using this product right here and changing it. I forgot the name of the word right here. Forgive me, people, but it's just changing it up just enough that it actually can be considered my own product, even though I'm using someone else. Derivative work, yes. Lots of reviewers have been doing this. The problem is that when some people have identified that, hey, you have done this, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to take this this video down. And any money you made off that is actually going to go to me because I'm the one who actually owned this product. And you're not deriving it enough in order to make that happen. The problem is, though, that underneath what is called fair use, you can actually do that.
What is
it was
fair use? Okay, I know what you're saying now. Fair use.
Yeah, fair use. It's and there's been a hashtag going around called "Where's the fair use?" It was pretty much started by Doug Walker and Channel Awesome when they got their most recent round of takedowns. Funnily enough, they have a current takedown. No, I'm sorry. It's Spoonie that has takedowns right now for his videos for music that doesn't appear in the video they requested taken down. For a video that has no clips and no music, they requested a takedown on it. There have been they requested Brad, Cinema Snob, has his Midnight, I can't remember what the name of the series is, but it's basically they go to movies and then after the movie they sit in the car and talk about the movie. It's literally just a camcorder sitting on a dashboard and they talk about the movie. And they got a takedown request for copyright infringement saying that they were using intellectual property. No, they weren't. That is the very definition of fair use. You can use certain materials of copyrighted nature for review and analysis purposes. And
there was
these people weren't even using Brad wasn't even using like clips or audio or anything. It was just literally them sitting in a car talking about the movie.
There was a podcast that I listened to. I'm trying to figure out which one it was that actually just had a thing where they were talking about this, where there are literal companies that exist to hit YouTube videos with copyright stuff to get the money from them.
Gamer's Tavern has gotten hit by one of those. Do you remember I was trying to do the music during the intermissions thing?
Someone hit us with a...
Someone hit us over a Nine Inch Nails song that's Creative Commons. And they tried to... And so the process goes like this. They'll post whatever they're saying. Like they'll either try to take it down, which means YouTube will remove the video and make it private, or they will take the monetization, which means any money that's earned on advertising on that video then goes to whoever claimed on it. I, as the copyright holder, then have to, as the person who created the video, go to YouTube and fill out the form and say, no, I'm disputing this because X, Y, and Z, and posting whatever I had. And I had a big long rant saying, okay, here's the Creative Commons license. Here's exactly what I'm using it for. Here is how I'm able to use it. Here is quotes from Trent Reznor himself, Nine Inch Nails official website, and Creative Commons founder over exactly how I can do all this stuff. Boom, send it out. And what this company did was sat there and did nothing for 30 days. So for 30 days, that episode that I had the Nine Inch Nails song on was on YouTube, earning no money whatsoever for 30 days. So if Gamer's Tavern ever gets big enough that was actual money coming in and not just like 80 cents or something, what they could have done and what they have done before to other places is file on the claim, collect the monetization for when the video first goes up for a day, and when the file is claimed against them, they just sit there and let it sit for 30 days. So they steal, and by the way, whatever money that was earned before I went in and disputed the copyright, I don't get back. They get to keep all that monetization. So they get to steal the money from the content creator until they dispute it, and then they get to, a little bit more metaphorically, steal revenue for 30 days from anyone who posts that. And thus the where's the fair use tag, in that there's been a court decision in California that states that before any takedown notice can be made through the DMCA, fair use must be considered. And they're not doing it, and YouTube's not enforcing it correctly.
The podcast, and I want to say it was, I don't know. I don't know which one it was on, because it could have been.
There's been a few that covered this topic.
It may have been Dungeons and Randomness, actually. I don't remember. The thing they amended it with was damn it, I lost it now. You were talking about so this is one way to lose a transition on a subject, is to try and find the source material that you were literally just thinking about.
No, just but you can just say it though. So a podcast out there has been talking about this.
Yeah. I don't even remember if it was today or yesterday that I listened to it. So that makes it worse for me because I listen to a bunch of podcasts.
Keep her going.
Yeah, no, it's not coming to me.
So,
oh no, I got it. That so one of the people like went to YouTube about, hey, under one of those situations where like this is literally a video of me recording me and that kind of stuff, and then went to YouTube, and then YouTube's like, nope, it's copyright, and just left it strike. Well, that person knew somebody who actually worked at YouTube and contacted them, was like, yo, this is some bullshit. Turns out the people who were approving the copyright stuff, that office was being moved, and those people weren't even doing work for a week and just claiming that things were copyright because fuck the little people, nobody cares.
Well, it's all done by algorithms, so.
Right, but when you escalate from the automated to the personal,
well, I know in the process, whenever I was disputing it, was YouTube never got involved. A human being at YouTube never got involved in mine because it went from me, and then whenever I disputed it, the claim was then sent to the company who filed the claim on me. Their response could have been one of two things: to either drop the claim, well, three things: drop the claim, or pursue the claim, in which case I would have had to appeal, and then someone at YouTube would review it, and if I were in the wrong, I would get a copyright strike. And the third option is to sit on it for 30 days and just, I can't get any money from that video. And the reason I know that is because I didn't feel like going through the fight over Opti's We Didn't Start the Fire 6th World song. That was on one of our videos. I got a claim on that, and I'm like, nope, that's parody. That's flat out covered. And when they came back and said, you're going to get a copyright strike if you find against you, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just edit the video. And after the second time, I'm like, nope, I'm fighting this every time because it took me 2 friggin' hours to dig that music out.
That sucks balls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, has any movement really been done on this at this point in time? It still sounds like they're still fighting everything.
They are, because YouTube has said that they are now taking it into consideration in drafting a new policy.
So, translation, we ain't doing shit about this. Go fuck off.
Pretty much,
basically.
We are taking your concerns, customer, into account, and we will get back to you shortly. Now, please go find something else to be outraged about for a little while.
So
and forget about this whole thing. It's
the old Blizzard. We listen to your, or rather, we have somebody print off every single, thing, every suggestion that one of our customers make. We appreciate the feedback, and that printer prints right into the furnace that heats the building.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
The major problem is that technology has outpaced lawmaking.
Yeah,
like, pretty drastically.
Well, yeah, that especially way back in the good old days. Like you can actually find equivalent correlation with this and the Industrial Revolution, where all sorts of laws could not truthfully be applied to the industrialized society because things were just so different. It's the same thing with the connected and computerized society. Everything has changed except for the laws, and the laws take a long time to get written.
And the bad
longer
news is
than
that
it, yeah.
The major companies are gotten a lot better at lobbying, so they're the
Yes.
ones who are in charge of the policy. The guy, I'm surprised we've gotten as much as we have out of the FCC director, because he used to be a lobbyist for fucking Time Warner or Comcast. But he's now in charge of the FCC, so we literally put the wolf in charge of the hen house. But apparently he's actually doing some good, so I don't know what the hell happened there. But it's just really annoying because right now the internet is more or less an even playing field. If I've got the talent and the drive to create a product, I can put it online and get an audience. I don't have to have big corporate sponsors or big corporate backers, or I don't have to go through a network procedure and go through 8 chains of executives to put something on YouTube.
This is true. It is super crazy how easy it was for me to get started on that.
And frankly,
you can put it inside of the YouTubes?
Yes.
God.
So yeah, pretty much anything they can do to keep hold of that control, they're going to do it. So.
Yeah. Well, as it seems that the conversation has gone down the path where everybody would nod, have a drink, and then be silent for about 30 minutes.
Harumps.
Yes, indeed.
Harump. Whoa. I got more date stories. No, not for another night, though. For another night.
We need to chill out on those after that last one. Jesus. All right.
Next one, I definitely will bring the beer nuts for that one.
Yeah. So, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it greatly. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of goodness. And
tell us how wrong we are about everything in the comments.
It's over?
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Tell us how wrong we are.
Subscribe to us on Twitter, Tinder, Grindr. Get us on everything.
I don't think you
Tell
can subscribe on
this
Tinder.
guy how wrong he is about the Star Wars movie.
Yeah, if you talk to John on Tinder, he will swipe you right.
Yes.
He will swipe you. All right.
But until next time, may all of your hits